So Brandon Johnson, quite possibly the worst Democratic mayor on these streets right now, compared to Tiffany Henyard. It's going through more and more problems. Now it seems like his whole entire Chicago school board has resigned. Shout out to the Democratic mayor. Let's get into it.
Right now, few specifics today from Mayor Brandon Johnson about why his entire hand-picked school board resigned. City Hall and the Chicago Public Schools made that joint and unprecedented announcement Friday with no opportunity to ask the mayor questions about it. So today, CBS News Chicago investigator Dorothy Tucker went to all three of the mayor's events, intent on getting some answers.
On the day after Mayor Brandon Johnson announced the pending departure of all 7 board members, he initially declined to answer questions. Can I ask you a question?
I want to see something. Wait a minute. All 7. Let's see. She was like an agent. Todd Breland, the woman who doesn't want to get rid of her last name, take on her full husband's last name. Or maybe her mama did that. I don't know. Estrada, Hispanic, Hughes, Anglo-American, Lozano, Hispanic, Morales, I guess that's a woman, bald head with a fade better than mine, and Woods. All right, this is your hand-picked, looks like a DEI school board. Okay, let's continue.
Members, he initially declined to answer questions. Can I ask you a question about the school?
Let me get through this right here first.
We had lots of questions. Why are you taking that picture? Mayor, you're being accused of abusing your powers. What do you say? Again, no response.
We are now leaders.
It wasn't
Now, did they have a problem when he handpicked this first set of people? Remember? Because they said they were hand selected. So now there's a problem in a conflict, and they all resigning.
until the mayor had wrapped up his second event that he stopped to offer some explanation for an entire board resigning.
This is just merely a transition as we move into an elected portion of our school board.
For the first time, voters will be electing 10 board members. The mayor will appoint 11. The new board won't start until mid-January, which means until then, the mayor will appoint 7 new board members.
The mayor still has power.
That's Rufus Williams, president of the Chicago School Board from 2005 to 2009.
If you are the mayor, why would you put someone on there who's not going to do the things that you want to happen?
According to CBS News Chicago sources, the mayor wanted CEO Pedro Martinez to resign. Without a resignation, the board would have to fire Martinez. So when we saw the mayor at his third event of the day, this question: do you want this board to fire Martinez?
What I want this board to do is to be responsive to the people of Chicago who voted for me.
Johnson and Martinez have been at odds over a proposal that CPS take out a high-interest loan to help pay for district expenses, including teacher raises and pensions. I asked Johnson if he's hoping the next board will give him the loan he wants.
Well, this is really about not cutting our school districts, right? You know, there are same individuals.
Do you want them to apply for a loan?
Again, what this is about making sure that we don't cut our classrooms.
So you want to take a loan out. You want to take a payday loan out to make sure that your schools don't close down when the schools are not even performing at all. I mean, and I'm going to go through a couple of stats here where we're going to finish this video out. But because one of your school board members felt it's not right, doesn't make sense to take out a high interest loan. High interest loan for why is the government taking out loans? That's the older I get and the more I see, the more you learn, the more frustrated and disheartened and just disappointed and angered you get at the system as a whole, because you start to see how it really runs. You have a budget. Now remember, the city as a whole is about $1 billion. It's not $1 billion? Yeah. About $1 billion in debt. Don't forget, sanctuary cities using millions upon millions of dollars to house illegal migrants, putting these migrants in shelters, where it be hotels, where it be a tent. But tent wasn't good enough for them, so they put them in schools, put them in hotels, things of that nature. And yet, he's asking for a loan. He's doing his interviews without batting an eye, saying, hey, we're just trying not to close school. But like I said, let me go ahead and finish this first so I can get my complete thought.
This answer similar to the rest. So I try my first question again. You are being accused of abusing your powers with this move.
Well, look, as mayor of the city of Chicago and as a parent of Chicago public school students, as well as a former teacher in our public schools, the people of Chicago voted for me to transform our school district, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
To have turnover at this point that's close to there and have a new group of people coming in, potentially having a new CEO, it's the recipe for chaos.
Dorothy Tucker, CBS News Chicago investigators.
Mayor Johnson will head to Vegas tomorrow to stump for Vice President Kamala Harris. And then at 10:30 Monday morning, he'll announce his new school board appointees at a Southside church before heading to London later in the week. In just a couple of hours.
Going to Vegas to stump for Kamala Harris. How much is that going to cost the city of Chicago, who's already in $1 billion worth of debt? And now your school board is quitting because you want to bring in, again, a high interest loan. I think it's like $90 million, if I'm not mistaken. High interest. Let's say I'll call it payday loan, title loan, just to keep the schools open. There's no financial benefit to that. You know, the federal government doesn't, from what I see, doesn't even do that, which is why they'll give money to Ukraine because they already know that Ukraine is a loan and Ukraine has to pay it back. This has already been established. I already mentioned that in the previous video. That's why America loves war, because they make money off of it, which is why when American citizens ask for money when it comes to this hurricane, we got to make sure that you're citizens. You got to apply for certain amounts of money. And some people got denied that lived in the city, in the cities that was hit by this last hurricane. But like I say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense for the federal government. I always remember that.
Hours ago, 41 alderpeople released a statement saying there is, quote, extreme cause for concern about the mayor's action.
What does that say? Let me read this a little bit. This past Friday, all 7 city members of the Chicago School Board resigned. These vacancies, which will now be replaced with direct appointments from the mayor, will be tasked with overseeing the CPS budget, CEO Martinez's employment, and the ongoing negotiations with the Chicago Teachers Union. This is unprecedented and brings further instability to our school district and the city as a whole, if you think about it. Taking out a $300 million high-interest payday loan. That's what I call it. Did I just call it a payday loan? Wow. It's not a smart decision when CPS is already facing a massive deficit and the city is almost $1 billion deficit. With federal COVID relief funds having recently expired for CPS, it is critical that CPS leaders keep the interests of taxpayers and our children top of mind as they make budget decisions that will impact the district for decades to come. It says CEO Pedro Martinez and the members of the school board who have announced their resignation understood the reality of the situation by passing a budget that did not include this loan. There is extreme cause for concern now that those voices have been dismissed. Let's see, earlier this year, Springfield legislators in Springfield noted the request they received from the city's lobbying efforts. Many of them shared that the request focused too much on $2 billion for the new Bear Stadium and not enough on additional funds for CPS. So again, it's about money. They know if they put money in the stadium, people are going to go to the games. They're going to make revenue with the stadium, but they're not going to make money if you invest in schools, which is why they invest a lot. You see a lot of investment in prisons because there's money there, but schools, budget got to be cut if you don't pass meet certain criteria with these students.
They say any move by the mayor and his new board to take out a $300 million high-interest loan to pay for the teachers' union contract and related pension payments is not a smart decision. The 41 city council members, want a hearing before any new board appointees are in place, adding Chicagoans deserve to have a voice on decisions affecting the city. CPS, by the way, is facing a $500 million deficit for next year.
In $1 million deficit. Amazing. So Hold on, let me kind of back up a little bit. But so what's crazy is so this very school board who wants a $300 million loan. Last year you had 1 out of 4, and this is something I looked up myself. 1 out of 4 students could read at the grade level that they are at, were proficient in the grade level that they're at. 17% were proficient in math. 17, this is like the whole school district. The budget, they're trying to get this $300 million loan because everybody, what they're saying is if we get more money, we can help the students out. We can reach that education goal. But yet, the budget has went up 57% since 2019 to up to $1 billion. It's reached $1 billion, and there are no changes in the test scores since then. It says 21% can read at an 8th grade level. 21% of the students can read at 8th grade level. Now, this school called Frederick Douglass Academy. Shout out to Umar Johnson, just following along in this line of ignorance. This Frederick Douglass Academy, which is a high school, can house over 900 students, but only has 34. Only had 34 enrolled in the whole school. I think this is a school they want to use for migrants, which means that there was a 5-to-1 student ratio per teacher compared to 19-to-1, which is still fairly pretty good because I know schools have got 25, 30 students in the classroom. 19-to-1 on average with the whole school district, which means this Frederick Douglass Academy spent a little over $68,000 per student compared to the regular schools that spent $18,287. But they said not one student last year was proficient in their grade level, any subject. I've seen private schools down here in Texas, which may have a 10-15 student ratio, 8 to 16-to-1 ratio students to teachers. Students, excellent. Grades, get the learn they need, get the instruction they need. I myself, there were years in my youth where I went to a private school. Didn't realize at the time the education I was getting until I went to a public school. Now, with the private school thing, my first 2 years, the 3rd grade went to public school, then went to private school 2 more years. 6th grade, I kind of realized the educational difference because I walked in and passed like tests with 100s. I remember my first 7 tests I took. Never forget this, all 100s. Because it was easy, and I already did that. But the problem with going to the public school was that I got lazy because the curriculum was just too easy. So I just tried to cruise through it, and it affected me over the next few years, I think, until I just, figured it out, caught up, and, caught on and got the heck up out of high school or what have you. But anyway, my point is, supposedly, the fewer students you have, the better the education's supposed to be. The better the grade's supposed to be, and everybody's happy. I just want to say, side note, you do know, like, they act like parents don't have an option. There is homeschooling. People think, oh, I don't have time to homeschool, I got to go to work. Well, on average, if you homeschool your child, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per day is all you need to homeschool your child. Now, just imagine if a group of parents got together and say, hey, we're going to do a whole homeschool curriculum and we're going to take turns teaching each other's kids throughout the week. But you got to be on the same page. So you can't sit here and complain about something and don't do anything about it because you're afraid to do something different and you're just going to go down with the Titanic. That is stupid and it makes no sense. But also about a month ago, I saw something that said that the school union wanted to use unused schools, turn them into migrant housing, right? Or they wanted to have police-free schools. Why? Hold on. Migrant housing, money, federal government. Take the police out of schools. What's that for? Money. That's less money you got to spend. So we take them out of schools. They want to pay. excuse me. excuse me. Want to pay for baby deletions, free baby deletions for those that are in the union. Probably teachers that probably messed around and got inseminated by some of the students. I'm just saying. You see the stories. I'm just saying. Annual training for the LMNOP community or about LMNOP community. What about the annual training for what you call it? AI training and any kind of computer training and technology. What they call it, STEAM. Well, STEM, not STEAM. And a 9% wage increase for teachers. You want all this, but yet you want a $300 payday loan, title loan. Man, whatever. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. Shout out to Chicago. Hey, when this election come around, now he's going to go see Kamala Harris tomorrow, I guess. Going to Vegas to stump for her. Just had a DNC, but that wasn't good enough. Got to spend some more money to go to Vegas on a business trip. If you guys vote blue, I'm talking about my Chicagoans. We're going to stick to y'all. If y'all vote for Kamala Harris this election, you get what you deserve. You deserve what you're about to get. What you're going to continue to get. Because, shoot, if you don't care about your children, I ain't really much else I can say to you. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. All four things cost you nothing but maybe a couple minutes out your day. And it means everything to us over here. Don't forget to go to marlonmorale.com where you get 10% off your first purchase. Or you can go hit the shop below this video. Same products, great products. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.